lukewarm coffee and a sandwich, but have them take off the tomatoes and then throw them on the ground, stomp on them, and then burn them. All of them. And throw what's left away. And also, bonus points, try not to stutter again. Okay, we got this, I think. Now, all that's left to do is get out of my head and order. You know what? Maybe I'd rather just... Hello, what can I get y'all today? It's really not that bad. Wait, are you talking to me? Is she talking to me? Do you guys...
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What can I get you?
Oh, potato? Oh, no, I'm not calling you. I meant, fries. Yeah, fries. And,
Excuse me?
you know what? I am so sorry. I'll just take...
See.
Yeah, that.
Can I get a name for that?
Oh, it's...
Stick around and stick with Stel. Sorry, I was a little late to the party on that one.
You know what? It could be worse. At least there isn't tomato. Are you... Actually? I guess I'm going to starve today. I have always been and was the quiet kid. Was. Funny. You would probably never be able to tell by the way I'm super loud and scream in all my videos. Whoa, you're quiet and sarcastic? Remind me not to... Shh. That is not the point. Have you ever met someone who's so quiet that suddenly people start to wonder if they're going deaf and then look up in confusion? Spoiler alert, they weren't deaf, but I may have been quiet or partially mute, yay! Or both, let's go! 2-for-1 special, am I right? Wait, can I return both of those? Most of the time it's just being scared to talk, but the times I do speak, it's just quiet. Part of that's extreme anxiety. Part of it's being naturally quiet, and another part is, whoa, new label unlocked, selective mutism. In dumbed down and simple terms, it's someone with really bad social anxiety, and wonder who that's talking about. I'm okay with speaking at some places and with certain people, and completely unable to at others, even if and when I want to. From the top, open mouth. Still no sound! Why isn't it making sound? Why can't I talk? Believe it or not, I actually like talking to people, and I want to make friends and always have, but I'm awful at it. I'm not entirely sure what selective mutism is, and I do know it's different for everyone, and regardless of the label you slap on it, me, no talk. Yay. Although I'm talking right now, it's not always that way. It can potentially hurt the relationship with them if you don't respond, and it hurts you because in your head you are responding, but you can't physically or verbally. Now, I could just make a video like, whoa, Stella, how are you so quiet? And then not reply and be quiet like, funny, get it? Good laugh. But I am going to try and explain it just a little better than that. Pros! Is there any? A few, but yes. Animals. Animals don't really run away from me, and it's kind of like a real-life snowflake. White. Not copyrighted. Not really sure if that's related to being quiet, but I think it might be. How else would I have almost 4 cats sitting on my lap, 1 on my head, and even more coming over? And yes, that type of stuff actually does happen. And I love it so much. And no, in case you're wondering, I still wasn't allowed to take a single one home. Besides the animal one, I was actually kind of struggling to think of more pros, and in the moment, it kind of feels like there isn't any, but I've been told that words I've said or things I've done, and even forgotten ever doing, have made a lasting difference on someone's life, and the way I show up makes people really happy, which doesn't always make sense to me, but it makes me happy. And sure, that is on the rare occasion that people listen, but noticing stuff, sometimes just like not speaking and using my 2 ears in my 1 mouth. Some of you guys need to learn that skill, by the way. Or just download social anxiety. That works too. Just kidding, probably. Just go show your quiet friends they're noticed, and it truly does mean a lot. For cons, that list goes on and on and on and on and on. This is just kind of a me thing, but I'm guessing other people deal with it too. My personality takes some time to open up, and if, or should I say when, there's a louder person in the same room as me, people tend to turn to the more extroverted person and want to be friends or talk with them, and that kind of sucks sometimes. But don't get me wrong, I can fully understand that. I would probably do the same if I had the confidence. If someone's speaking louder and appears to be doing it effortlessly, okay, wait, I clearly can't say that word. If someone's speaking louder and appears to be doing it effortlessly, people go to them, and sometimes it feels like maybe that they didn't notice I'm there, and maybe I don't need to be there. Which is fine, but I can't tell if I'm overthinking or if I actually shouldn't be there. Sometimes I get such bad anxiety even with simple things, like when I go to record the audio for these videos. I love doing that, but sometimes I open my mouth and nothing comes out. Then I just gotta sit there, try again, or try a whole different day. And that is just into a microphone, with no worry of what it may or may not say back. Since if it actually did start talking back, it would probably just be repeating my voice or speaking with my voice. Actually, that might be kind of creepy, but that's off topic. Okay. Bro, I'm never going to be the loudest person in the room, and that was a really hard lesson growing up and being spoken over. But before you say, just speak louder, I really couldn't. Part of that is my fault for blending in and being okay with that and not speaking. I went from being quiet to trying to speak up, but that felt impossible. It felt like a mountain that I didn't even have the tools to cross, nor was I able to. And the simple choice was to turn back and go back to not speaking. But then something happened. You don't have to cross life's mountains alone, and sometimes people will offer you a bridge. I wanted to be heard just a little bit. Maybe, for a second, I could be myself, but how is that even possible? And somehow, by the glory of God, that's changed a lot, and I've grown as a person, which is kind of cool. It's really cool. And if little Stella saw me now, she'd be shocked. Literally shocked. And if future Stella saw us, she'd be like, I told you so. See? Look at us now. In all honesty, it takes a lot of effort for me to open my mouth and speak, and sometimes saying it once is hard, but repeating what I said if someone missed it or didn't hear it is even harder. It might seem silly or not make sense, but sometimes when no words come out, I worry that it'll stay that way. It changes by the day, of course. It changes with people, the situation, and sometimes it even happens when I'm all by myself and overwhelmed. No words, still quiet, still me. The funny part is that some people, regardless of how loud I speak, and I do try to speak up, some people genuinely cannot hear me. At one of the houses we lived in, we had this adorable, sweet neighborhood lady, and I love her so much, but we'll call her Granny Smiles. Not my grandma, but she did give off those vibes. Every so often we would bring over gifts, and she would invite us inside.
Thank you. Come on in. I insist. No, seriously, I insist.
I've either been with my mom or siblings when this happens, so this is apparently one of the few times it's actually okay to ignore the red flashing, stranger danger, come near me and you'll die signs. Still alive despite my lack of survival skills. Also, do you guys think that white van down the road gives free candy? We stayed over for a little more than an hour while her and her husband told stories about their life. It was genuinely really cool, and I didn't have to talk much, so that's always a win. But you might say, Stella, this is a being quiet video, not a being antisocial again video. Correct, and I did talk, and every time I did, she would nod and smile. Also, I would love to give an honorable mention to her husband, who, during this, kept slipping in stories that I wish I could unhear, oblivious to it all. Some of them are wholesome, but some of them I will spare you the details. Basically, he would tell a story, and then I would ask a question, trying to be kind. And change the topic. Please, I don't want to hear about that. And he would look at Granny Smiles, and she would look at him, and then nod and smile again. Then my mom or whoever was with at the time would repeat the same question I had asked, and they would answer. I would like to interrupt your regular scheduled program. This is where lack of social cues comes in. I thought it was odd that I was either kind of ignored or answered with one-word answers that didn't really relate to what I had said, but I brushed it off trying to be polite. It kind of got annoying after a while, not gonna lie, until we left and it happened. You do realize they can't hear you, right? What? Granny Smiles? And definitely not Grandpa Smiles. Did you notice how neither of them answered you? Well, kinda. I'm not that socially dense. Sure, buddy. Your voice is at a volume and a pitch they can't hear. What is that supposed to mean? I was talking louder than I normally do, and you were talking just as loud as I was. We did run into her and her husband a few more times, and I would test that theory by asking silly questions, and yup, she nodded every time. She couldn't hear a thing, and that silly goose kept smiling and saying yes to everything I said. Like, imagine I just move my mouth and don't say anything. She'd be like, yes, I agree. It was so wholesome and so funny looking back, but it was also partially annoying and partially had me wondering if I was just better not talking, but that's a me problem. Unrelated to the actual story part of that, we later found out that it would just be her we'd be visiting. And rest in peace, Mr. Man, who kept a ch-ch under his pillow for people who come to the door. Yeah, not sure why he told us that, and that's a memory I keep of him. And talk about a bullet I dodged. Literally. Next topic, and a more common one, picking a partner in class while being the quiet kid. Ouch. Does that still count as secondhand embarrassment if it's being embarrassed for past me? Because, yeah. To be fair, if you had friends in your class to partner up with, it wasn't that bad, but also, I didn't. Just imagining my old classmates being like, whoa, that quiet kid? Yeah, I wonder what she's up to. And then, like, seeing me on YouTube. That's a crazy thought. Actually, past me would have never thought that either. I was gonna talk about being quiet in school and other school stories, and I think I'll just leave that for a later video since this one is already going to be a pain to animate. A joy, but still a pain. Also, if you guys want a part 2 to this video, let me know in the comments. And remember to stick around. See guys, it's funny when I say it. I'm working on some really big projects behind the scenes, so those took a little bit longer than I thought they would. They're a secret for now, but once I get further into this I'm autistic series, which I don't want to be doing, but I genuinely feel called to doing that and sharing my story. So, God willing, a shop and merch and stuff may or may not be coming soon. God bless. Stick around and stick with Stel. Also, I'm sorry for not uploading in like a whole year. Get it? It's a new year. Okay, bye!